Hello everyone, welcome back. We have discussed about a priori algorithm and association rule mining in the last theory sessions, and in this session we are going to discuss the Python implementation of this a priori and rule mining. Okay, so for that we'll take the help of this Python library, that is MLExtend. It is actually machine learning extensions. Okay, it's a Python library of useful tools for the day-to-day data science task. It helps in many types of tasks of machine learning, and from this library I'm going to use this MLExtend.frequent patterns. Okay, from this module I'm going to import a priori, and this a priori function is to extract frequent item sets for association rule mining. You know that as a first step I'm going to identify the frequent item sets having a support value which is more than some threshold. So I can mention the threshold value for the support to retrieve frequent item set. Okay, so that's how this a priori will work. So I will give one item set of items as a input and the threshold value. So what it will do, it will generate all the possible item sets, and based on the a priori principle and the threshold value of support given, it will generate the frequent item sets. And once that is generated, then I will use this MLExtend.frequent patterns module. From this I am importing association rules, and what it will do, the function is to generate association rules from frequent item set. So I got the frequent item set here. From a priori output I will use those frequent item sets. Okay, this data frame of frequent item set will be given. Okay, and it will also take the input parameter for matrix and minimum threshold value. Okay, and these matrix values, the possible values are support, confidence and lift. So I can do the filtering on the threshold value based on the support, because anyway support I have done in a priori, so I can use support here as well, and I can do the confidence and the lift also as a metric. Okay, and I can give the minimum threshold value, and based on that it will generate the final list of item sets. So these are the two things that we can do through MLExtend. So I will go to Jupyter Notebook and I will show you. Okay, so this is my Jupyter Notebook script, and here I have taken, as a first step I have taken some data sets. Okay, so you can see these are some possible item sets that were there, maybe from the supermarket. I have taken few data sets, and then let us create this. Fine, so it's nothing but a list of items, that's it. And then here I am importing pandas. I will need the data frame object, so I am importing pandas, and from MLExtend.preprocessing I have imported transaction encoder. So it actually make our data ready for the next step. So I'll show you how transaction encoder works. So let us first import. Okay, so this is the data set. So I will first print this data set, and then I will change it to a different array of elements through the help of this transaction encoder. Okay, so let us first print data set, how it looks like. So this is what we have supplied as data set. Okay, and in the next step I am calling transaction encoder, and then I am calling this fit method. You have already used fit and transform method in various machine learning algorithms, so now you know. So in the fit method I am sending this data set. Okay, first of all I am fitting, and then I am calling the transform method as well with this output of fit method, and here also I am sending the data set. So let us execute. Okay, and then what I am doing, I am just converting it to some data frame. So I am calling pd.dataFrame, and here I have supplied te array and columns equal to whatever columns were generated for te. So let us see how it looks like, this df. So you can see that there were some comma separated list of values. Instead of that, what it is doing, for all possible values it has created some columns. Okay, so all the distinct values available in this list of values, it has created columns, different columns for the same. There are 5 rows, so 5 records are created, and based on the values present, so you can see here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11, total 11 columns are there. Why? Because in this list of items there are 11 distinct elements. Okay, but suppose for the first row, this apple, there is no apple in the first row, therefore this in the apple, under apple you can see it's false. Corn, it's false. Dilly, it's false. Eggs, it's true because eggs is there in this list. Ice cream is false because no ice cream is there in the first row. Then I have this kidney beans, it is true because kidney beans is present. Milk is true because milk is present. Okay, nutmeg is true because nutmeg is present. So it's just kind of, you can say that instead of having a comma separated values, it has now created some matrix form of data, and it has the true false for the elements. So the elements or the items are considered now as the columns of this table, and whether that item is present or not, based on that I have this true and false values under these columns. Okay, so I have just converted this data set we had, I have just converted it in some matrix format. Okay, and then after that, when this data set is ready, so now I am importing a priori. Okay, and I am generating this frequent item sets with the help of a priori, and in the a priori I am sending the data frame, this data frame as input. Then I am sending the minimum support equal to 0.6, means that is the threshold value, and it will generate all possible item sets from that, and it will filter out only the item sets where the support value will be more than this minimum support, and here the column names will be sent. So what is the significance of this parameter, I will show you. Let us first execute this. So you can see that here the list of item sets from all these possible 11 items, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So from the 11 items, all the possible item sets were generated, and it is showing me only the item sets which are having the support value greater than or equal to 0.6. Okay, so in case I put it as false, then what happens, let us see. So you can see here it is showing only 3 5 6. So it's just the the position of these columns, it is just showing you the column numbers. So if I write it here true, then it will give you the name of the column, so that may be helpful for me to understand. So egg is 3, you remember it was written only 3 because it is 0 1 2 3, third column, that's why it was written as 3. And here, as I have used use column names equal to true, that's why it is showing you the names. So it has identified all the frequent item sets, right, where support value is greater than or equal to the minimum support. So we have discussed that how this algorithm works. Now we are seeing that how this algorithm is working. Okay, so after that I will use this association rule mining. So for that I have imported association rules from mlextend to dot frequent patterns. Okay, and after importing I am calling these association rules. Here I am sending frequent item sets. Frequent item set means this one, this data set, data frame I am sending. Here I told you that in metric I can mention confidence or lift. Okay, and the threshold value. So here I am giving the threshold value as 0.7. So I want to generate only the frequent item sets where the confidence should be greater than or equal to 0.7. Okay, so let us execute this. So now you can see that it is showing you in the form of antecedent to consequent, because here it is important that which elements are there in antecedent and which is in consequent. So you can see the first rule, if you are seeing, so you can see that from eggs to kidney beans the antecedent support is 0.8, that means the support of only eggs. The consequent support is 1.0, that is the kidney beans, the consequent support is 1, and support means it is the support of the combination of these two is 0.8. You can note down that it is actually decreasing. Okay, and then this is the confidence, this is the lift, and this is the leverage, that is the conviction. Okay, so for all this set of item sets you can see that how it is generated, and this confidence you can check that all the confidence values are equal to or greater than 0.7. So it has just filtered out all the records where the confidence was less than 0.7. So that way I can generate these frequent item sets which are having the minimum support value and the minimum confidence value. And as it is a data frame, so I can use the pandas functionalities for different types of filtering. I told you that I can filter only the records of having some lived value or some leverage value or some conviction value based on our requirement, and I can have some only the some subset of columns also in our result set as per our requirement. So here you can see that I'm creating a new data frame from this old one having only this columns. Okay, if I don't need the other things I can just filter out this way. So these are all pandas functionalities and we have already used. So you can see that I have just generated a subset of columns for my requirement, and again I am filtering out based on some confidence value. So maybe I need some the records only having the confidence greater than equal to 1, so I can just do that. I'm creating another data frame where I will put the records only having confidence greater than equal to 1. So if I this, you can see now that it is just the filtered out version from this, and here the confidence, all the confidence values are greater than equal to 1. So that way once I have executed a priori and association rules, then I can generate the data set having this only those item sets, and as I have all the values, that means the support and confidence, lift, leverage, conviction, and I can filter out as per our requirement, and I can generate only those item sets which are relevant to us, and based on these item sets, that is the combination of antecedents and consequence, I can help in the market basket analysis. That is when I am getting this much details, then I can understand that how the elements or the items should be arranged in the market basket, and which are the items which can be brought together so that the sale of the items is maximized. Okay, so we have explored that how to implement these things using this Python library MLXtend. Okay, so now we have completed this association rule mining, both the theory and the demonstration part. So we'll come with some new algorithm in the next session. So for now, thank you.